I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, the Yankees win. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung, fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
Van Tippen has won the ball game.
Alabama has beaten Auburn!
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
That's exactly right, Coach. Nothing but a winner. Ain't been nothing but a winner. Trying to still continue to be the best. It is the Total Chad Sports Podcast, number 84 on the list. Yes, crazy, 84 on the list. We stopped being on Spotify. We strictly are mostly on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch.tv/Coach Grizzle. YouTube.com/@CoachGrizzleTV. You can hit us up on any social media platforms. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Straight Flexin', Facebook, all them places. You can pretty much search at Coach Grizzle, at Coach Grizzle TV, at Guathany Chad on Twitter as well. You can hit us up there if you want to leave us a comment, question, anything you want on the podcast. Remember, on every live podcast, if you're watching it now, watching it later, blah, 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 you won't be a part of the chat, but you can be a part of the chat on the live stream. We try to go live every once or twice or 3 times a week, trying to stay consistent. The times are never consistent, so you have to kind of like pay attention to social media and when stuff gets posted there, which in itself was not posted, but it is what it is. It took me a minute. Went on a long walk. It's a lot prettier outside nowadays. Went on a long walk, took the bird out. She's over there. You can barely see her. She's right there. She's right there on the edge. On the edge right there. Wrong way. That way. So we were going to do a little bit of breakdowns. We really were just going to keep it short and sweet. It's really late. We don't need to stay up crazy too late. So I was thinking maybe we do about an hour of this, and then we'll play something, and we'll enjoy ourselves, and we'll do everything, and we'll break down some more. Don't listen to the title. If you see the title on YouTube, we're talking about all of that and more. We're talking about the new Final Destination teaser trailer. I still hate it. I really didn't like any of it. I liked like the first 2. And then it just, those movies were just bad. I get the point. But I thought that was kind of stupid. Stupid movie. I don't know if it's worse than Snow White. Snow White might be the worst movie ever created. But we'll get into that later. Because you reap what you sow. You did that to yourself. That's the reason why that movie is ass. This isn't the community bullying you like Sonic. This is you did it to yourself. And there are great memes out there for said movie. We know that it's a joke. It's like Netflix. I'm over here like over here stuttering. It's like Netflix adaptations of stuff. See, I just did it again. I can't even say the word because it sucks. It hurts. I'm just making fun of myself now. Oh, I'm so excited. We haven't even scratched the surface of everything that's going on this whole weekend, this past weekend, this week. What's going on Thursday? What's going on Friday? What's going on the rest of the weekend? You got MLB opening day. You got HCFC opening. You got the Sweet 16. I mean, we're going to be rocking and rolling, and then all of a sudden we're going to be right back in to football season. We got spring football. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. The Stallions are probably going to win 4 in a row, and still nobody will care. The own town doesn't care. I'm excited. I'm excited because my bracket is still pretty decent. Let's check it out. Let's look at my bracket, because my bracket's pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see if we can get that to come up. Not be dumb. All right. Let's check this bracket out. I did pretty good. Since there was only one perfect bracket yesterday and then it got busted, I still have Duke the winner. I have in my Final Four, Florida over Auburn and Duke over Tennessee. That's still possible. The entire West I got correct. Look at that. St. John's, Arkansas, Texas Tech, Drake, Maryland, Colorado State, UConn, Florida. Very chalky, except for Drake and Colorado State, right? And, I mean, Arkansas over Kansas, who would have thought? And the fact that they won St. John's, that's my only other loss on the West. Okay, and Texas Tech, Arkansas, but that's near here or there. I still think that whoever beats whoever is going to beat Texas Tech. I thought that it was going to be Florida versus St. John's to get to the Final Four. Florida and Maryland, I had that because I had Maryland over Colorado State. Ridiculous buzzer beater, traveling, whatever you want to call it. That's what happened. Maryland wins the game, plays Florida. Got that one right. Look over here. Fuck you, McNeese State. Xavier, come on, be better. And then Utah State, always crapping me. I'm always looking for that weird upset, and Utah State just could not give it to me with UCLA. Got shellacked. But I still had Tennessee and Kentucky, both moving on, so still have that intact. And then over here, of course, you know, didn't think McNeese would move on and lose and play Purdue. Purdue only winning by 14. Purdue playing Houston, which I said Houston and Gonzaga, which in another bracket, I'm pretty sure I picked Georgia. But in this one, I picked Gonzaga. Then I pooped the bed on the East. Mississippi State crapped the bed for me. Liberty was my upset pick, even though I did already have an upset pick in Colorado State. But I picked a lot of upsets. Didn't happen this year. You know why? Because NIL's ruining college basketball just like it's ruining college football. These kids don't care about tradition and colleges and getting a scholarship and doing it all the right way. Yeah, they still got paid back in the day, but now it's more about getting paid even more. Because now all these smaller players, all these really good players that are on smaller teams, they're going to get a lot of money to go be the backup or go be the star. Look at Clayton Jr. on Florida. He was on Iona last year. Lost to UConn. Playing UConn again in Florida. Best player was a huge factor in that game. So, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Look at, you know what's also going to happen? Where is it? Because I picked them to lose. Lipscomb, same deal. It's going to be tough them keeping their people. Because if they're good, though, you'll be found. And you'll be bought. You'll be wooed. I could go for some wood. You'd be wooed to come over and play. See, the East and the South was my worst. Thanks, Louisville. Thanks, Louisville. I'll call you Louisville for losing. UC San Diego. I had too many 12-5s. I really didn't believe in the Big Ten, but they went 8-0 in the first round? They went 8-0. And then SEC to have 7 out of the seven teams out of the Sweet 16? That's insane. This is the only year where I've said plenty of times before where in this Final Four, it is a huge possibility where you could get 4 SEC teams in the Final Four. This is the best year for it. And the only thing in the way is Duke and Alabama. Now, granted, Houston and Purdue will have to play Tennessee and Kentucky. Arkansas's got to beat Texas Tech. Florida has to beat Maryland, obviously, even though it's very chalky except for Arkansas at number 10, which everyone's like the same. Arkansas is not a 10. Arkansas should be like a 7 or an 8, to be honest with you. Michigan a 5, Arizona 4. All great programs in basketball. BYU's huge. That's a huge run. Huge, huge. But everyone you got is either a 1 through 4. You got 2 6s and a 5. So it's pretty chalky, and everyone hates it because it sucks when the SEC is good at college basketball, isn't it? But nobody bats an eye, does whatever. Who cares? When the women's game, let's look. Are they destroying right now? Did UConn beat their opponent by 40 or more? Yeah. Beat them about, what is that? What is that, 30, what? 34? Beat them by 34, 44. No, 34. That's 34. Beat them by 34? What? They were up by 40 the entire game. What was it at halftime? What is that? A lot to a little. They scored 29 in the third. South Dakota State scored 8. 8 in the third. What? Are you kidding me? South Carolina barely won. USC might lose this game because they're playing Mississippi State, who granted was pretty good a few years ago, but they're not a powerhouse. The only reason USC is getting so much love is because that's their best player. And if she's not hot, their team's not very good. It's like the same thing. Every year, no one talks about how great the top teams are every single year in that league. South Carolina, Maryland, Stanford, UConn. Those teams every single year. Baylor. Now that Mulkey is over at LSU, still pretty good. Won the national title. It's the same. It's the same every year. The top teams are in the Final Four, in contention to win the game, in the contention to win the title. And no one wants to talk about how it should probably be shortened because of literally the top tier teams win every year. I see some of the most the best basketball I've seen in my area is when I watch the Conference USA tournament. Then they go play, like last year, Middle Tennessee goes and plays LSU and Angel Reese and loses badly. And then this year, Liberty wins the Conference USA. They go and play Kentucky, who's not a good college women's basketball team, and beats Kentucky. And they're not historic. They're not an historic team. The men's side is an historic team, but not the women's. And the women's still beat them. Maryland is a 4 seed. Played Alabama, a 5 seed. Granted, Alabama's a lot better. Alabama was up 62-45. Ended up losing that game like 111-108 in double overtime. But to put a team like Maryland, who is a huge powerhouse in women's college basketball, one of the good teams, great teams in women's college basketball, and yet no one wants to talk about how it should be shortened a little bit just because of that little scare. Maybe Ace Austin next year and Alabama will be a little bit better. We don't know how much better they're going to be. But maybe that team gets a higher seed, wins the SEC, some blah, blah, blah. But they have to beat South Carolina. That's a problem. South Carolina, who practices against a team full of dudes, make their team better, who has one of the best coaches in women's college basketball. Because it's difficult. You can't compare the two. It's apples and oranges. It's two different sports. You want to combine them, combine them. You want to crown them, crown them. But it's gonna be difficult. It's hard. It's hard to compare that. It's like CC or not CC. It's like It's like I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm making myself stupid right now. Just trying to think about it because it hurts so much. Caitlin Clark. You cannot compare her to Pistol Pete and other players, male players, saying that like they can play with this and blah blah blah. She's 6 foot tall. All right, there's got to be two separate entities. There's got to be two separate winnings or whatever you want to call it, accomplishments. It's got to be two separate, two different types of levels of competition. We're not comparing what a dude can do in AAA when he comes up to the MLB. It's all fresh. It's all new. It's not the same. We're not going to compare it. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It was a great weekend, once again, for the state of Alabama, and having Auburn and Alabama moving on to the Sweet 16. All-around game by the Auburn Tigers, winning 82-70 over Creighton. Janai Broome didn't have to do much, only 8 points. Chad Baker-Mazara with 17. Denver Jones with 15. Tahad Pettiford, who's a freshman, hasn't been playing very well in the tournament, 23 points. Great free throw shooting, not so great from the three, worse than actually Creighton. Out-rebounded them by 10. Less turnovers. So they played really clean ball. That's all they had to do. It was an all-around game. Same thing we could say for Alabama. I mean, all-around game. This is what you want to see out of this team. Aiden Holloway with 12. Diabate off the bench with 10. Sears with 12. Youngblood with 13. Philon with 6. You want to see more out of Philon. Clifford Amori with 10. 11 rebounds. Out-rebounded him 5-5. More turnovers. Didn't play cleaner. Just played better down the stretch. 75% from free throws. Hit 51% from the field, which was a bunch of Clifford Amori dunks, which was disgusting. Some alley-oops. You need Clifford Amori and Grant Nelson. Grant Nelson also had an alley-oop. You need more production out of those two. Clifford Amori more out of the defensive side of the ball, underneath the basket. And then Grant Nelson kind of going on a hot streak right now. Need Grant Nelson to start shooting better, Philon to start shooting better. You need Mark Sears to take over. You need him to be that senior leader, drive it to the hole, get fouls, do what you're supposed to do. Play this BYU team hard and move on to the Elite Eight. Auburn, same deal. You got Janai Broome, your best player. Best player, possibly some people say, in college basketball. Just like Cooper Flagg, use him. Go to town. Go to town! Playing Michigan. Going to be a good game. I didn't think Michigan was very good. They won the Big Ten, not Michigan State. They won the Big Ten tournament. Beat Michigan State. Came into the tournament. What is Juwan Howard doing right now? It didn't take him long. He's with like the Nets or somebody. He's with some team. He's like an assistant coach somewhere. So, Auburn, Michigan. What is that, Friday? 8:39 in Atlanta. That's late as hell. That is late as hell. Alabama, 6:09 in New Jersey on Thursday. And I don't have to work either day, so I'm going to be watching both games. We might do a podcast on Wednesday. Depends on if we have to work. But that could also really more talk about MLB opening day, because we haven't really talked about that. Because it was a Schwell day. Schwellenbach went really well today. Real good game out of the Braves today. What is the opening day roster going to look like? Because literally they're not going to have Joe Jimenez, Ronald Acuna, who is it? Spencer Strider at the end of the month, Ronald Acuna in May. And then there's one other player, I think. Oh, and Sean Murphy, of course. He's going to have those. You're going to have those players out. So we'll see what happens with Drake Baldwin at catcher. Juraxen Profar in the outfield. You got Kellenic, who wants to be an everyday outfielder. Brian De La Cruz. You got Alex Verdugo on a minor league contract. Marcell Ozuna can play some outfield. And he was playing outfield if you watched Behind the Braves. So you might see some Marcell Ozuna, even though he's DH, out in the outfield if they have to. You do have Nick Allen and Eli White as some backups and utility players. And then, of course, if you look, you know the rest. It's going to be Olsen, right? Albies, right? Arcia, right? And Riley. I mean, we know what the infield's already going to look like. I don't even have to look at that. I already know. But pitching-wise, right? Schwellenbach, right? Grisale, right? Ronaldo Lopez, who said he hasn't been looking very good in spring. The velocity's gone down, too, by the way. So hopefully some placement. Maybe he can do it right. Maybe they'll figure it out. Grant Holmes might come into play. Hopefully he can come and be a better pitcher as a starter. And then, of course, Strider, like I said, is coming at the end of the month. So, or the end of April. It's almost the end of the month. It's already almost the end of March. So, we didn't even talk about it. Coach is back, Jesse Chavez. We didn't even talk about that. Because that happened after we did a podcast. So, that's happening. That's a thing. We're excited for that, man. Welcome back, sir. Thank you, sir. Ian Anderson's gone. I'm going to cry. Hopefully, he can be like Soroka. Have a bounce back. I'll be clapping for him. I'll be rooting for him. Because I really would have loved to see Ian Anderson get that same one-time go out there, start for the Braves. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, then trade him. But I guess they were trying to get the most out of him. And I thought he did. I thought he did all right in the starts that he got. And I think he's like played that day when he got traded. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm happy for the Braves. We'll see if the roster can stay healthy. That's the word. Staying healthy. Staying healthy. Please do that. And you'll have it rocking and rolling. I mean, you'll just have it rocking and rolling. All right. Before we get to On This Day in History, and we'll play a little bit of 7 Days to Die. We also have, I'll show you the teaser trailer for Final Destination movie. Because I think it's absolutely stupid. And I think as a restaurant person, former restaurant person, probably future restaurant person, stupid. Absolutely stupid. Would never work. Would never happen. It would be into the movie right there. You wouldn't. That's the trailer. That's it. That's the movie. And I have to show you in a second. But NCAA Championships was this weekend. And not a lot of people like to talk about NCAA wrestling. I'm not talking about that fake-ass shit WWE. I'm talking about collegiate wrestling. All right? Vision Quest. That's high school. But college wrestling. All right? NCAA Championships on Saturday. Wyatt Hendrickson. Captain America. Second lieutenant in the Air Force. Lady Bird is up for this because she's a wrestling girl. What are you looking at? Quit being butt. Anyway, Wyatt Hendrickson beats Gable Steveson, the former gold medalist for the U.S., the former tried the Buffalo Bills, the former WWE tried it, came back to college, lost. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is what I hope that the kids that I coach, and I hope that if you are a wrestler out there, I want you to understand something. Do not give up when a coach tells you to keep running your feet. When you're trying to make that shot and you're trying to get your points, do not give up on your points. Keep working for it. Keep scrambling. because you do not know what's going to happen. And you could literally do something like this. This is insane. This was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen as a wrestler. Now, granted, I love the Drake Ayala and Lucas Bird match. I like the Starachi match. Okay? There were some other great matches throughout the night. But it's heavyweights. You love heavyweights. There's memes everywhere where it's like, oh, when you know that it comes down to the heavyweights match or the 215 in the heavyweights match, because they're literally coming out there trying to pin their last two guys, win the match for you, win the duel for you. We're going to have to watch this. This is crazy. This is insane, first of all. He's down 4-2. All right. Let's see how this looks on the thing. Let me see what it looks like on my thing. Cuz I have to work this. Okay. Wyatt Henderson is down 4-2. All right, you can see this. Right? Everyone can see this, right? Down 4-2. 41 seconds left. Most people would just give up. Most people would just try to do the dumbest crap, try to do something crazy, try to throw him, try to push back into him, try to do something insanely dumb. Instead, Wyatt Hendrickson does this. Dude's an absolute stud, by the way, Gable Stevenson. Don't throw that out.
You just can't spend much time on your knees.
How about Starachi, though? The only 5-time national championship. Won't ever happen again because of COVID and everything else. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. Wyatt. Not giving up. Hip in. Keeps running his feet. Kids, that is textbook right there. That is textbook taking a shot right there. Go back and see that again. We got to see that again. Look at this. Kids, don't give up. First of all, heavyweights shouldn't be doing this. Heavyweights should not be doing this. Should not be moving like this. This is what I keep telling the heavyweight we have at the school that I work for. Keep working hard. Keep taking the shot. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Look at that. Changing direction. Changing levels. Holds onto the leg. Hips in. That's Oklahoma State and John Smith right there. Circling to the leg. They keep wanting to do this dump stuff. These kids nowadays want to do this dump crap. Keep circling to the leg. Keep driving to the leg. I mean, the fact that he was able to even keep him down still, too. And that was what right there. If Gable could have just got up right there and escaped, it would have been a tie. It would have gone in overtime. It would have been crazy. But the fact that match ended like that, that's crazy. That's insane. I mean, nobody. First of all, when you're on defense, you shouldn't lose a match like that. You should not give up those last few seconds. And 41 is a lot of seconds. When people say short time, that means there's like 10, there's like 11, 10 seconds left in the match. But that 10 seconds is very long. 41 seconds. That's all it took for Wyatt to take a shot, keep running his feet, keep scrambling, and to score points. And then ride him out to win the match. That's crazy. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about wrestling. Real wrestling. Not that fake stuff. Not that fake stuff at all. Because I had no business on that. I love the fact that everyone got a kick out of Lucas Bird, who is 5'5". I'm 5'8". I'm taller than Lucas Bird. He also could kill me. He won the national championship at 133 pounds. That's what I weighed when I was in high school. When I was a senior in high school. I was about 130, 133. His girlfriend is 6'3" and plays volleyball. And everyone was sitting here making, look at that hug. She's picking him up. He's picking her up. Everyone wanted to call him a short king. Dude is living life, bro. National title. Look at this. Look at the size. Look at the height difference. Dude's living life, bro. Dude's living life, bro. Good for him. It was a great match. I think more people are amazed by that and their TikTok love or their TikTok fame or whatever than the wrestling. Like the wrestling, man. I swear. It's crazy. It was a good match too. Let's see here. Here's what it looks like somebody had right here. How about that? How about that? Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. He pinned that dude before. That's the Ping Ting title. I thought that was the thing. I knew that wasn't right. He wrote him out. Where is it at? Did they got it? Is this right here? Yeah, here we go. 3-2. I knew something didn't look right. It looked like a lot of fans.
This is where you see the course strength. And he's got to stay set. That's a stall.
Let's see here.
That is stalling. Yes.
See, how do you call that? How do you call that?
Control time. Ayala is working. Oh, that's bad right there. That's a bad right there. Watch the inside trip. That was a great, good to drop it on the leg by Bird. There's a national champion. That was smart by Bird there. Hey, look at Bird's girlfriend over there. She's 6'3".
See, the guy's talking about the girlfriend more than him winning the riding time. Which, that's how he won it. But they call a stalling call on that, that was a little much. That was a little much. Honestly, totally forgot. I thought they called the stalling call on Drake Ayala, but they didn't. They called it on Bird. And it was tied. And all he had to do was that, because he had the riding time. And that's the thing about college wrestling that's different from high school wrestling. You can just sit on a guy. You're up. You can get the stalling call. That's what Starachi did. Starachi was up 4-2. And he let the guy up. Then, because there was only 10 seconds left, he stalled and backed up. And he got the stalling call, but it wasn't double, so it wasn't a point. So good on him. 5-time national title winner. Will not ever happen again. Probably will never happen again. Unless like someone somehow gets like a medical red shirt and still win. I don't know how that would happen. I don't think that'll ever happen again. It's just crazy. It's crazy how that'll end up like that. I'm excited. I was ramped up. That heavyweight match was sweet. Like I said, no heavyweight should be moving around like that. All right. What time is it? You know what time it is. It's time for On That Day. All right. It's time for On This Day. Brought to you by onthisday.com. Thank you so much. This is a great website. Hit it up. If you want to watch some really cool stuff on YouTube, History Marsh. YouTube.com/@HistoryMarsh. Awesome battle simulator / war / battles historian. Watch it on my downtime when I'm not watching interviews. By the way, interviews. Bruce Pearl. Way to bring up what's going on in the real world. We kind of take that for granted. We kind of forget about that. And if people are going to get so hurt about that, I mean, people cared and didn't care when people like basketball players, football players, everything like that, threw their political sides while they're playing sports, during the event, after the event, whatever. Or even just before, during, whatever. Or just choosing to say it after, when they're done. Moving on to the next one. And whether it's controversial or not, it still should be brought up. Because, I mean, give them bread and they'll enjoy the circus, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Give them bread and circus, isn't that what it says? Isn't that the old Roman proverb? Give them bread and circus. So, I mean, like, we are distracted by sports and by other things that's going on, whether it's our tablets or whatever. But we have that situation as well. So I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you, Clancy. You are pretty awesome for being here, supporting the channel. More than welcome to ask anything you want on the stream. If you have a question about what's going on in the sports world, if you have a question about what's going on in the history world, If you got a question about whatever, you're more than welcome to hit us up. Pop culture, whatever. Friends, do that stuff. I appreciate you. You're a man of the people. Tell all your friends, thank you. So, alrighty. I think my Discord is set up. Let me see. Oh, there it goes. I think I sent it to you. If you're a real person and not a bot. Let's see here. Today's historical events. In 1379, First War of Guelderian Secession ends when Matilda and the Heckerins are defeated by the Duchy of Jülich, forcing her to resign for her rights to the Duchy of Guelders and to her half-sister Maria's son William. I have no idea who the Guelderian Secession is. I'd have to look that up. Timur, I've heard of that before. Sacks Damascus in 1401. Timur attacks city of Damascus, second city of the Mamluk Empire. Though scholar and negotiator Ibn Khaldun's life spared, the city is sacked and the Umayyad mosque destroyed. I think he fought Basil. I think Timur fought Basil, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. 1545, German Parliament opens in Worms. In 1550, France and England signed the Peace of Boulogne. And the Union of Crowns happened in 1603. The Scottish King James VI, son of Mary, Queen of Scots, becomes King James I of England in succession to Elizabeth I, uniting the England and Scottish crowns. The Tokugawa shogunate established in 1603. That happened today. So that's basically what you get out of the show, which is pretty awesome. Shogun is awesome. I'm not gonna lie. The old show movie, the old show now, pretty damn good. Everyone compared it to Game of Thrones. It's not Game of Thrones. It's very short. It's very somewhat anticlimactic. It's more kind of like a thriller and people kind of killing each other than anything. It was really good. But that thing lasted for a long-ass time until, like, 1862. All right? 1867. Tokugawa Ieyasu is granted the title of shogun, officially establishing the Tokugawa shogunate, which would rule Japan until 1867, which you had more modernized. And that's what you have The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise ruined it for everybody. Actually, I think he helped everybody. He helped them. That was the last show. Was Tom Cruise. Thanks for the follow, Clancy Pung. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for everybody being here. Let's see here. In 1629, first game law is passed in the American colonies by Virginia. In 1721, Johann Sebastian Bach dedicates his Brandenburg concertos to Christian Ludwig Margrave of Brandenburg-Schwedt. In 1731, Jerome A.K. Hieronymus de Salis, naturalized as British by act of parliamentary. 1765, Britain enacts Quartering Act, required colonists to provide temporary housing to British soldiers. And we were like, nah, dog. And then like 10 years later, we were like, nah, dog, get the out. 1792, Benjamin West in the U.S. becomes president of the Royal Academy of London. In 1815, Handel and Hayden Society of Boston is found. In 1828, Philadelphia and Columbia Railroad is established, the first state-owned railroad. In 1832, Joseph Smith tarred and feathered. Mormon leader Joseph Smith is beaten, tarred, and feathered in Hiram, Ohio. In 1837, Canada grants its black citizens the right to vote. In 1848, the state of siege proclaimed in Amsterdam. 1853, the Provincial Freeman. In 1853, anti-slavery newspaper, the Provincial Freeman, first published in Windsor, Ontario, edited by Samuel Ringgold Ward and Mary Ann Shod Carey, first black woman publisher in North America. 1855, Manhattan, Kansas, founded as New Boston, Kansas. How do you change Manhattan, Kansas to New Boston, Kansas? They got to be a Red Sox fan. They got to be. 1860, I doubt it. Or 1855, I doubt it. But how do you go from that to that? 1860, Clipper Andrew Jackson. I thought that was going to say Clipper Andrew Jones. Clipper Andrew Jackson arrives in San Francisco 89 days out of New York. Oh, that was a ship. The Clipper Andrew Jackson arrives in San Francisco 89 days out of New York. 1868, Metropolitan Life Insurance Company forms. In 1877, Ciro Pinsudi's final opera, Maria Corvino, first performance at the Teatro alla Scala in Milan, Italy. 1877, University boat race between Oxford and Cambridge ends in a dead heat. They died in the heat. Did they die? 1878, British frigate Eurydice sunk, 300 lost. 1880, Tobacco Growers Mutual Insurance Company incorporates in Connecticut. 1882, German scientist Robert Koch discovers and describes the tubercle bacillus, which causes tuberculosis, establishing germ theory. All right, you established germs. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Robert Koch. Robert Koch. Robert Cokes. Robert Choch. Cokes. Robert Koch. Is that his name? Anyway, wasn't the last one I said. 1883, first telephone call between New York and Chicago. 1887, Oscar Strauss appointed first Jewish ambassador to the from U.S. to Turkey. In 1894, 37 miners killed at Franklin, Washington. In 1900, 1900, New York City Mayor Robert Anderson Van Wyck breaks ground for a new underground rapid transit railroad that would link Manhattan and Brooklyn. Thracio revolt in 1905. A group of Cretans. Do you say Cretans or Cretans? Are they Cretans? Because they're from Crete. Are they Cretans or Cretans? Dedicated to Crete's union with Greece, led by Lutherius Venizelos. There we go. Meaning the village of Thracio, village of Thariso, and proclaim a union of defiance of the great powers. 1906, census of British Empire show the United Kingdom rules 1/5 of the world's landmass. Holy shit! In 1906, the United Kingdom owned 1/5 of the world's landmass. That's insane. 1907, the first issue of the Georgian Bolshevik. I'm gonna copy that. The Georgian Bolshevik newspaper Dro is published in 1910. 83 degrees Fahrenheit, highest temperature ever recorded in Cleveland in March. 1913, Dutch soccer. That's like an average day in Alabama. That's like, I mean, it's not 83, but it's pretty close. It's pretty damn close. It's like 70. It was 70. 1913, Palace Theater opens at 1564 Broadway, New York City. 1913, Dutch soccer forward Hugo de Groot scores twice as Netherlands score first ever victory over England 2-1 at HBS The Hague. In 1916, German submarines torpedo the unarmed French cross-channel packet Sussex. 1920, the first U.S. Coast Guard air station established in Morehead City, North Carolina. In 1924, first performance of Jon Syllabus, 7th Symphony in C at the Consertföreningen in Stockholm. Concertföreningen. It says concert. Is it a forest concert in Stockholm? Concertföreningen. Concertföreningen. I don't know how to say that word. 1924, Greece becomes a republic. In 1925, KSL AM in Salt Lake City, Utah begins radio transmissions. In 1926, the Beehive in the Hague opens first escalator in Netherlands. 1927, Dutch First Chamber condemns Belgian and Netherlands Wijlenen Treaty. 1930, first religious services telecast in U.S. W2XBS in New York City. 1932, first U.S. radio broadcast from a moving train. Bella Baker, WABC from Maryland. 1933, Peter the First Island incorporated as a Norwegian dependency. Shasta Shostakovich's Suite for Jazz. 1934, Dmitri Shostakovich's Suite for Jazz Opera #1 premieres in Leningrad, USSR. 1934, U.S. Congress passes the Tidings-McDuffie Act, declaring the Philippines independent after a period of 10 years. 1935, Major Bowes' original amateur hour goes national on NBC Radio Network. 1936, Detroit Red Wings beat the Montreal Maroons 1-0 in 16:30 of the sixth period of overtime. Record Stanley Cup playoff game lasts 9 periods. That's 1 hour and 76 minutes. That's crazy. Or 176 minutes, sorry. 1937, bus carrying a roller skater troop to Cincinnati from St. Louis crashes into a bridge abundant in Salem, Illinois, killing 21 people. 1937, National Gallery of Art establishes by Congress. 1939, Wuthering Heights. Film is based on the Emily Bronte novel and directed by William Wyler and starring Merle Oberon and Laurence Olivier. Premieres in Los Angeles. 1941, British troops defeat Italians in Somaliland. 1941, German troops occupy El Aguila, Libya. 1941, Glenn Miller's first film. Glenn Miller begins work on his first movie, Sun Valley Serenade, starring Sanjay Henney and John Payne for 20th Century Fox. 1941, Richard Wright and Paul Green's play Native Son premieres in New York City. 1942, U.S. government begins moving native-born citizens with Japanese ancestry into detention centers under Execute Order 9066 with intention of preventing homegrown espionage. 1944, 76 Allied officers escape Stalag Luft 3, Great Escape. 1944, 811 British bombers attack Berlin. The Ardetten Massacre in 1944, Ardetten Massacre. Nazis led by SS officers Hubert Koppler, Erich Priebke, and Karl Haas execute 335 civilians and political prisoners in occupied Rome in retaliation of the previous day's Villa Rasella bombing that killed 33 Germans. 1944, RAF rear gunner Nicholas Alcamade survives a jump from his Lancaster bomber 18,000 feet over Germany without a parachute. His fall broken by pine trees and soft snow. He suffered only a sprained leg. That's insane. He fell 18,000 feet and a bunch of twigs and some snow cushioned his fall, and all he did was sprain his leg. Talk about lucky. Allied generals discuss advance. In 1945, Allied generals Dwight D. Eisenhower, Bernard Montgomery, and Omar Bradley discuss advance in Germany. 1945, Operation Varsity. In the largest one-day airborne operation of all time, British, U.S., and Canadian paratroopers land east of the Rhine in northern Germany. 1945, U.S. minesweepers reach Karamoto-Redo, south coast of Okinawa. Rockefeller donates UN site. 1947, John D. Rockefeller Jr. donates New York City East River site to the UN. 1947, U.S. Congress proposes 2-term limitation on the presidency. 1949, 21st Academy Awards, Hamlet, Laurence Olivier, and Jane Wyman win. Walter and John Huston become first father-son team to win award. 1949, SS police chief in the Netherlands, Hans Albenrauter, request for a pardon denied, executed by firing squad. In 1952, great demonstrations against apartheid in South Africa. 1953, U.S. performs nuclear test site in Nevada test site. 1955, first seagoing oil drill rig placed in service. 1955, British Army patrols withdraw from Belfast after 20 years. Elvis Presley in the Army in 1958. 1959, Iraq draws from the Baghdad Pact. Event of interest. In 1959, the Party of African Federation, PFA, is launched by Leopold Sedar Senghor and Modibo Keïta. 1961, New York Senate approves $55 million for a baseball stadium at Flushing Meadows. Boxing title fight, 1962, Emil Griffith beats Kenny Kid Parrott by TKO in the 12th round in the welterweight boxing title fight in MSG, New York City. Parade dies 10 days later. First use of television slow motion replay. Okay, but he died 10. That's crazy. Music history in 1962. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards perform as Little Boy Blue and Blue Boys. 1964. Kennedy $50 issued. 1965. U.S. Ranger 9 strikes moon 10 miles northeast of crater Alphonsus. Alphonsus. 1966, Selective Service announces college deferments based on performance. 1967, University of Michigan holds first teach-in after bombing of North Vietnam. 1969, Francis Turner is sworn as director of the Federal Highway Administration. 1970, Dutch cartoonist Franz Piet ends Soars and Simi strip. 1971, Sergei Gainsbourg releases his concept album Histoire de Melody Nelson. 1972, Great Britain imposes direct rule over Northern Ireland. 1973, professional track debut of Kip Keino defeating Jim Ruin in the mile. 1973, San Francisco 49er president Lou Spadia, I don't know, Spadia, I don't give a shit, proposes the NFL expands to 30 teams. Boxing title fight, 1975, Muhammad Ali TKO's Chuck Wepner in 15 for a heavyweight boxing title. Coup d'etat, 1976, Argentine President Isabel Martinez de Perón is deposed by military coup headed by Jorge Rafael Videla. 1975, New Orleans R&B piano player Professor Longhair and with the Meters perform a record release party for Paul McCartney Wings, Venus and Mars aboard the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. Tony Awards in 1977, Lily Tomlin, the first woman to appear solo on a Broadway show and appearing nightly. Special Tony Award in 1977. 1978, Wings release single With a Little Luck. 1979, Columbia flown on carrier aircraft lands at Kennedy Space Center. Sports history in 1979, Michigan State's Irvin Magic Johnson registers a triple-double with 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists as the Penn State cruise over a 101-67 victory over Penn State. 1980, Nightline with Ted Koppel appears on ABC. Iran hostage crisis in 1980. ABC's nightly Iran hostage crisis program renamed Nightline. 1980, Capitol Records releases some rare Beatles tracks on LP rarities. Event of interest in 1980, deposed Shah of Iran Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, 60 arrives in Egypt for cancer treatment at Mahdi Military Hospital near Cairo. Bombay beat Delhi by innings and 46 to win the Ranji Cricket Trophy. 1981, Colombia drops diplomatic relations with Cuba. 1982, U.S. sub Jacksonville collides with a Turkish freighter near Virginia. 1942, Andrea Scone skates ladies' world record 5 kilometers in 7 hours and 34 minutes and 52 seconds. 1984, Igor Malkov skates world record 10 kilometers, 14 minutes and 21 seconds. In 1984, IOC agrees to a 6-team exhibition baseball tournament in the Olympics. In 1984, Philip Glass opera and Cotton, based on the life and religious convictions of the Egyptian pharaoh, premieres in the Staatstheater in the Stuttgart, Germany. 1985, first Golden Raspberry Razzie Awards, Bolero wins. I don't care about these other ones. These are pretty stupid. Academy Awards, 1986, Out of Africa, William Hurt and Geraldine Page win. Sports, no. NASA published a strategy for safely returning to the space shuttle to flight status in 1986. U.S. and Libya clash in the Gulf of Sidra in 1986. Let's see. Indian troops leave Sri Lanka in 1990. Let's see here. Space Shuttle STS-45 Atlantis 11 launches into space with the first Belgium in space on board Dirk Primo. Let's see here. Don't care. The Matrix 1999 film written and directed by the Wachowskis, starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, and Carrie Ann Moss, premieres. Beautiful Mind in 2002. Judd Hirsch is a good actor. Let's see here. The Office in 2005, the U.S. version of The Office created by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, developed by Greg Daniels, starring Steve Carell and John Krasinski, premieres on NBC. That started today. Event of interest in 2006, post-benefit adds 15 men to the College of Cardinals in the consistory of the Pontificate. God, I can't even read. That's bad. We're almost done with this. Opportunity Rover runs a marathon in 2015, becomes the first to complete a Martian marathon. Let's see. I don't really care about the rest. 2019, New York England's Patriots tight end announced his retirement, 3-time Super Bowl winner, and then he came right back and won a Super Bowl again. Anything else? Oh, I think we're good. Any birthdays that we can see that we know? John Harrison, you remember him? 1693. Don't know any of these people. Andrew Mellon, American banker, 1855. Harry Houdini, 1874. We know that name. Thomas E. Dewey, governor of New York and Republican presidential candidate, 1944, 1948, 1902. Clyde Barrow, American bank robber and outlaw, Bonnie and Clyde, born in Ellis County, Texas. Joseph Barbera, 1911, American animator and cartoonist, Hanna-Barbera. Tom and Jerry Flintstones, born in Manhattan, 1911. Dorothy Height, 1912, American civil rights and women's rights activists. Martin Walzer. Steve McQueen, 1930, American actor. Carol Kay, American session bassist in 1935. Let's see. David Suzuki in 1936, Canadian scientist. Let's see here. Alan Sugar, he's 78. Pat Bradley, she's a golfer. Steve Ballmer. Of course, he is an American businessman. And he's the investor and CEO over Microsoft. Right? And he also has that other crappy LA team, the Clippers. I almost said the Lakers. He's 69 today. The Undertaker is 60. Wrestler, Undertaker, he's 60. Jim Parsons, dude from Big Bang Theory and Sheldon crap. Jim Parsons, he's 52. Holy shit, 52? Still got time. Allison Hannigan, she's 51. What? 1974. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, of course she's old. Peyton Manning, 49. Jessica Chastain, she's 48. Anybody else? No, we're good. All right. So now we're done with On This Day in History. We're not enjoying because that was what it was. That was basically On This Day in History. So anyway. All right. Now we're pretty much done with the podcast. We were only going to do about an hour. Now we're going to get off. We're going to go enjoy a little bit of some 7 Days to Die. I greatly appreciate everybody being a part of the podcast. I greatly appreciate everyone being a part of the chat. Clancy Pung, everybody, Head of Steel, all them people out there. Thank you so much for being a part. Asking questions, bringing the love, bringing the heat. If you want to hit us up on any social media platforms, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube's, Instagram, Straight Flexin', TikToks, if I already said that, all of them places, at Coach Grizzle, at Coach Grizzle TV, at Guathny Chad. Hit us up on Twitch, twitch.tv/Coach Grizzle. Drop the like and follow. Or drop the follow, I mean. Like Clancy did. And also drop the subscribe and like on the YouTube. YouTube.com/@CoachGrizzleTV. We have talked about everything that we wanted to talk about. There's nothing else that we could really talk about right now. There's a whole bunch of other crap right now going on in the world. I did not get into the Final Destination BS trailer. Which, hold on, we'll finish that up. Hold on. Final Destination trailer. Or teaser trailer. Alright, you see this crap? We're going to see this crap together. First of all, I think I had like another one. Okay, that's not the one. This is another teaser trailer. Alright, so check this out. Watch this story. First of all, he broke glass. There's glass in the ice. I don't care if you think there's not glass in the ice. That was too close. First of all, it's too close to the thing. I have watched enough Bar Rescue and Kitchen Nightmares, mostly Bar Rescue, and I've worked in bars to know that if shit like that happens, you immediately shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it. You don't even know how to own a bar. You melt the shit out of that ice. Get the glass out, clean it, then wash it out again, then let it drain, and then put ice back in it. At least clean it out and make sure there's no glass in it. But no one, this movie's already over before it even hits the glass. That breaks. Clean it up, immediately shut that down. Immediately. And first of all, you can't see that big of a fucking glass in ice? Come on. They're not even trying anymore. They're just doing like more regular day shit that people are going to get hurt by. Pay attention to that. If you're a bartender or server or whatever, that movie ended right there. If you're a bartender, server, whoever, this is a great way to go out on the podcast. Make sure you pay attention to shit like that. You could really hurt somebody. That's a liability, first of all. Not only going to kill somebody, but it's a liability. So, thank you so much, everybody. Everyone have a great rest of their night. Thank you so much for being a part of the Total Chad. Thank you so much for being a part of the Total Chad Sport. Let's do that over again. Thank you so much for being a part of the Total Chad Sports Podcast. Everyone have a great rest of their night.